everyone, welcome back to 5 Minute Korean and welcome to the very first installment of our series on Squid Game and Korea's reality. For today, we'll be talking about 유령 수술, and what that is, let's find out.
잡아. 급한데 저기 남은 건 내가 해볼까? 요령만 좀 알려주면 나도 할 수 있을 것 같은데?
내가 여기서 이러고 있다고 이게 쉬워 보여?
요즘 뉴스 보면 간호조무사니 사무장들이 대신 수술도 하더만. 오히려 의사보다도 낫다던데.
그렇게 자신 있으면 네가 직접 하던가.
So that scene did not come out of nowhere. So that's actually something that exists in Korea. So 유령 수술 or ghost surgeries is when a nurse or intern doctor or a non-medical personnel stand in or cover for the chief doctor or the doctor that's supposed to perform the entirety of the surgery. And that happens without the consent of the patient. There are even cases where the managers or the receptionist or even non-medical personnel assist in or perform the surgeries. So question, is this legal? No, it's not. Korean law actually states that an unlicensed act could lead up to 5 years in prison or a penalty of 5 million Korean won. So another question, how come they don't get caught? The main reason is because they don't have CCTVs or cameras inside the operating rooms. So if you are a patient and you were unconscious during the surgery and you don't have a companion, it's really difficult to prove that, hey, someone came in and stood it for the doctor, or hey, that was a non-medical personnel, why was he in this room, and so on and so forth. It's really difficult to get a hard evidence regarding any claim about it. So there were several cases of ghost surgeries or 유령 수술 in Korea, but one specific case stands out. Okay, so imagine this. October 2016, Kwon Dae-hee, college student, used to get bullied because of his jawline, decided to get a cosmetic surgery. A ghost doctor performs most part of the process of the surgery. The patient experiences extreme blood loss. The patient gets comatose for about 49 days, eventually passed away. So the mother got a hold of a CCTV footage, so the family filed a case against the doctor and against the clinic. So eventually they were able to prove that yes, a ghost doctor actually came in and performed the surgery or took over the surgery and eventually won the case. And the doctor that was supposed to perform the entirety of the surgery got sentenced for 3 years. So every day, the mother would come in front of the parliament, hold a one-person protest demanding that, CCTVs should be a mandatory inside the operating rooms. So she was saying how they were just fortunate to get a hold of a CCTV of a hard evidence, so they were able to win the case. But such is not the case for a lot of other families, other victims' families, other mothers. So the bill came out to be known as a Kwon Dae-hee bill. And because of this bill, a lot of different issues resurfaced. So people started talking about this and talking about the previous bills that were meant to tackle 유령 수술. So fast forward to 2021, this Kwon Dae-hee bill passed all but one legislative proceedings. And that is why this August and September, Koreans have been talking about this again. And that is why Squid Game is very, very timely. Okay, so what does the law state? So the law states that the clinics should install CCTV cameras inside the operating rooms. They should get the consent of the patients before recording, and they should keep or store the videos or the recordings more than 30 days, and they should allow access to it by investigative bodies or by court should any legal disputes arise. So this bill remains to be a very, very controversial one, with the medical practitioners themselves opposing this bill. So they're saying that the passage of this bill into law might lead to patients losing their trust to the doctors. This could also be seen as a violation of the privacy of the patients. And I think their most important argument is that if this bill is passed into law, they foresee that the doctors would leave their professions. Why? Because the doctors would then be discouraged or very unwilling to take on life-threatening procedures. That is because the more complex a procedure procedure is, then the higher chance of getting in the middle of a legal dispute, and also the higher the chance they will risk their career. So on the other hand though, the public seems to express their approval of this bill. So according to Anti-Corruption and Civil Rights Commission, about 97.9% of almost 14,000 respondents say that yes, I think we should install CCTVs inside the operating rooms. So in Squid Game, when the workers said,
요즘 뉴스 보면 간호조무사니 사무장들이 대신 수술도 하더만.
he definitely wasn't making it up. So we hope you enjoyed this video. Please do watch out for the following episodes in our series. 그럼 안녕히 계세요.